Hi guys, I'm making this video to help you out with a specific exercise from page 10. So I'm going to share my screen now so you can see what I'm talking about. Here on page 10, you have this exercise over here where it says vocabulary check, complete the sentences with the correct words from the boxes. You know that last week we did this page. So we started lesson 2 called climate change. We talked about this poster and then we did a listening comprehension where we listened about the effects of pollution and climate change, right? So we listened about how climate change is affecting coastal areas, affecting people, how it affects animals, and how it could affect the environment itself. You know, landscapes such as deserts and coastal areas were mentioned in this audio. You answered listening comprehension questions, and now we're going to focus on specific words from this audio so you can expand on your vocabulary, okay? So I'm going to enlarge this. Okay. So it says, vocabulary check. Complete the sentences with the correct words from the boxes. So here you have 3 words. Here you have 3, and here you have 2. Although they may seem similar, they are quite different. So what I'm going to do is to explain the difference between each word so you can do this exercise on your own while you are at home. Okay, so I'm going to annotate. So what's the difference between worried? What's the difference between worried, worrying, and worried? Okay, so worry means preocupar, and it's a verb. So as it is a verb, it has to go in the middle between the subject and the object, okay? So you can say, I worry about climate change, okay? So I worry about climate change. And here you can see that worry goes in the middle. It goes between the subject and the rest of the sentence. Worrying is preocupante, and it's an adjective. As it is an adjective, it describes a noun, you know, describe un sustantivo. So worrying is similar to the uses of big, beautiful, pretty, okay? In that sense, because worrying describes something. It can be either a situation or it can be an object. For example, you have a worrying face. If you say you have a worrying face, here you are using worrying as an adjective. Why? Because it's describing the face. It's saying something about the face. And in the case of the word worried, it's an adjective, okay? And in Spanish, it would be preocupado. Even though worrying and worried are both adjectives, they are not the same in the sense that they are not used the same. So you use worrying with any other noun to describe that specific noun, but you use worried with the verb to be. For example, you can say, I am worried about climate change. You are worried. So as you can see here, you are using verb to be with an adjective. And in this case, the adjective is worried, okay? Good. So we're going to continue with number 2. Okay. I'm going to load the screen. Okay. So you have predict, predictable, and prediction. I'm going to write it here. So you have predict, predictable, and prediction. So predict, predecir, and it's a verb. Predictable, predecible, and it's an adjective. Prediction is prediction, and it's a noun, sustantivo. So as predict is a verb, you need to use it in the middle. I predict that tomorrow it will rain. Okay, so here goes in the middle. Predictable, it's an adjective, meaning that it describes a situation. So we can say, for example, the weather is predictable. So how is the weather? Predictable. So it's describing the weather. So you can also say the predictable weatherman said it will rain tomorrow. Okay, so you can say the predictable weatherman, meaning you're given, you're describing the weatherman. So the weatherman would be the noun, and you're describing the weatherman using the word predictable because it's an adjective. And in the case of the word prediction, that is a noun, you need to use it at the beginning of the sentence. So, for example, the prediction given by the weatherman turned out to be true. Okay, so here you have the prediction given. So in Spanish, this sentence would be, la predicción dada por el hombre del clima resultó ser verdad o resultó ser cierta. Entonces, so here you have the subject of the sentence, and prediction is the noun. Okay, so that's the difference between predict, predictable, and prediction. Let me clear this up to explain the last one where it says disappeared and disappearance. Okay. So we have disappeared and disappearance. It has this, let's say this brackets here because it can have this following meaning. You can say disappeared or you can say appeared. It's the same. So the this is just to make these two words possible. So disappeared, it's a verb in the past. Therefore, appeared is a verb in the past. So for example, disappeared would be desapareció, and all the other possible conjugations. Desaparecieron, desaparecimos. The same thing happens with this one. Apareció, aparecimos. As it's a verb in the past, it has to go in the middle. So the girl disappeared yesterday. Entonces, la niña desapareció ayer. So with appeared would be the girl disappeared, I'm sorry, appeared yesterday. This one would be la niña apareció ayer. Okay? With disappearance, this one is a noun. An appearance is a noun. So this one would be desaparición. So for example, disappearance of, let's think of someone famous. Not gonna think of anyone famous right now. The disappearance of the little boy. Como la desaparición del niño pequeño. So here you have, again, disappearance at the beginning of the sentence because it's a noun. Okay, and here appearance, aparición would be the appearance of the little boy. Little boy. And this one would be la aparición del niño pequeño. Okay? So, what you have to do is just read this. I'm going to clear this out here. What you have to do then is just read this and then choose which word suits best in each sentence. And you have to look at the You have to look at not only at the meaning, but also you need to look at the position in which this word is missing, okay? So you need to look at the position. Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay, guys, I hope you had learned something about the video, and I'll see you next week. So do your homework.